You want to know why I look at this mugshot and say Trump 2024 now more than ever? Is because the alternative would be to do what? To run away from the problem? It would be a moment of generational cowardice if we say, okay, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe you win. It's a little bit too much liability. I guess we'll just run a different candidate now. Do you understand how cowardly that is? All right, folks. So on last night's stream, we live reacted to Donald Trump's mugshot, but I know that not everyone watches the full live stream. So I figured since it is important, I will clip it down, and I thought I gave a speech kind of in reaction that was a little bit important. So without further ado, here is me reacting to the Donald Trump's mugshot live at 10 p.m. last night. Here you go. I think we should do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Now, everyone get your laughs out now because I have serious things to say. But really quickly, we will say, yes, this makes a great t-shirt. Yes, he truly does have street cred. For real, for real. It is iconic. It is kind of funny in a sense. Okay, now that we have all the jokes aside, I have serious things to say. And listen, folks, I'm not going to give you the same spiel that I and every other conservative commentator has given a million times during every Trump indictment of, oh, we've crossed the Rubicon now. Oh, we've really broken precedent now. People understand that. I don't need to tell you that again. What I will say, though, is this. Okay, you consider the context of how this all just happened. Last night, we had a GOP debate. We had a GOP debate where, you know, Trump obviously was not present, but every candidate on that stage, at least publicly, believed themselves to be a viable consideration to replace Trump and to eventually lead the party. The argument you heard from some of the candidates last night, and frankly, I do something I do understand. I'm not saying I agree, but an argument I do understand is this whole idea that all of these indictments are too much baggage. Right? It's going to hold us back in 2024. We don't want 2024 to be about Trump's indictments. We want it to be about the future of the country and all of this stuff. You know, those arguments. And I do understand there is a legitimate concern. This obviously is going to be a political liability, right? It certainly is. You know, in some ways, people are saying it'll help Trump. It also probably hurts Trump with independents. Don't get me wrong. All of your arguments, anti-Trump people, DeSantis people, all of them on some level are legitimate. I understand the concern, but here's the issue fundamentally, is that we cannot run from this moment, okay? You want to know why I look at this mugshot and say Trump 2024 now more than ever? And in fact, you know, he really is the only option at this point in this race? Is because the alternative would be to do what? To run away from the problem, okay? I understand that none of us want to be here. I do get it, okay? None of us wanted the 2024 election, regardless of who you support. None of us wanted the race to come down to a politically charged criminal case or a series of criminal cases against the Republican candidate. But this is the battlefield that is in front of us. We have been encircled. We have been flanked. That is true. But what option do you have other than to stand there when your back's against the wall and to truly fight the battle as in front of you? Which is precisely why I say it would be a moment to all the people saying, oh, too many indictments, too much liability. It would be a moment of generational cowardice that I don't think the conservative movement could ever recover from. If we as a movement, as a party, as a country, look at all this where we know what exactly, everyone agrees, we know exactly what they are trying to do, right? They're using a politically charged criminal case, breaking all sorts of precedents that have never been done against past presidents, political candidates, all of that weaponization to take out their top political rival, the guy they don't want in office, the guy they don't want to have a platform. We understand third world banana republic, all that stuff. We all agree on that, right? But what message does it communicate to the future generations of conservatives, to the current generation of conservatives and just people in this country, if they do all that to us, and our response, instead of standing up to it, instead of saying, you're not going to take out a candidate by this metric, we're going to double down, we are going to run this guy, right? And you're still going to have to beat him at the ballot box, at least in theory. If we do the opposite of that, if we say, oh, well, you want to do this politically charged indictment and throw our top candidate in jail. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe you win. It's a little bit too much liability. I guess we'll just run a different candidate now. Do you understand how cowardly that is? Okay? And by the way, you want to talk about how bad the indictment is? There is no better thing that will ensure that this exact thing will happen again and again to the future Republican candidates of wherever, right? 2028, 2032. There's no better way to ensure that than by proving to the other side that this tactic works. Okay? So if we guys, I mean, I'm serious about this. If we sit here and stand as a party and say, oh, well, you know, the political establishment and the Democrats and the, you know, the uniparty, whatever you want to say, right? If we just say, okay, well, I guess they win. Do you think it's going to, I mean, it's common sense. Do you think it's going to stop with Donald Trump? Okay? Absolutely not. If they know they can take out the top leaders of our party and our movement through the criminal justice system, they're going to do it again and again. That's the precedent that's going to be set. And clearly, if we're going to be such pushovers where we're like, okay, you win, guys, okay, then I guarantee you they're going to keep doing it again and again. I'm not saying there's any surefire way to guarantee that stuff like this doesn't happen in the future, because we're going to devolve into a third world country anyway. But what I will say is that perhaps the only one possible deterrent to something like this happening in the future is if it backfires horribly in their face, right? If the guy they did this to becomes more popular than ever and ends up, right, the only one way you could hypothetically get out is if the guy they did it to triumphs over all of them, wins the 2024 election, takes back the presidency. And what does it say in the end? All your games, all your witch hunts, all of that stuff failed. You tried to play dirty and it backfired on you miserably. That is the only thing that can deter them playing dirty and not playing dirty in the future. That's it. That's it. If you play into their dirty tactics, which frankly at this point nominating someone else other than Donald Trump is doing, I hate to say it, even if you like the other candidates, it is kind of true in a sense. It's running from the problem we have in front of us. It's trying to get around this issue of the Trump indictments. Like I said, you know, it's going to happen again. Okay. It's not going to, you know, who's to say they don't do it against your, you know, some of your guys' favorite person, Ron DeSantis? Who's to say they don't do that? Oh, but Ron DeSantis doesn't have as much baggage. Well, it's a slippery slope, is it not? Is it not a slippery slope? Okay. So you can look at it now and say, and look, I think it's totally bogus. I mean, I think Donald Trump is one of the least corrupt people in politics, and, you know, it's all a projection. But even if you disagree with me, even if you think, no, he is a guy of low moral character, all of that stuff, all the generic anti-Trump arguments, even if you do think that, again, folks, we all understand this. It is a slippery slope. So if there truly is a guy who is sanctimonious and a good guy and all of that stuff, they'll do it to him too. Okay? We cannot run from this moment. All right. Everyone always wants, you know, conservatives always say, oh, it's time for conservatives to stand up and fight. Right. A lot of people say that. But if in this moment your immediate thinking is let's run from it. Oh, well, they're trying to take down the front runner of the race. OK, well, that's a bit too much baggage. I guess let's nominate someone else. That is not standing up and fighting. That is an ultimate act of cowardice. It's true. I don't know what you want me to say. It's true. So that's why I say now more than ever, right? Trump 2024. Okay. It's not even just a matter for me that there's the martyrdom effect of, wow, they're after him to get him. Wow, I like him even more now. It really does go deeper than that. Because don't get me wrong, folks. I'm going to be totally real. To some degree, it does concern me, right? Because genuinely, I think one of the angles they may take on this is, you know, if you especially look at the DC court, the trial there is completely bogus. The case there is bogus, but you know, it's DC, right? I very likely could see a scenario where, you know, a conviction gets handed down, and then very likely what I could see is either, I don't know, maybe they send Donald Trump to jail, maybe they go all the way there, or if not, the other concern I have here is I could see Joe Biden trying to strike a deal and saying, hey, look, all right, Trump, I will pardon you if you drop out of the race. Something along those lines, right? I could see it happening. I actually think that's probably the angle they're trying to take here, right? So it does concern me. It really does concern me. And frankly, it concerns me that even worse may happen, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying, you know, I'm just like loop-de-doo pretending as if there's no problems here, okay? And don't get me wrong. It does kind of somewhat upset me that the 20, and it does concern me even on an electoral basis. Some of you DeSantis people are right about this, that the 2024 election is going to be more about Donald Trump's personal, criminal cases and all of that than genuine issues that matter to Americans. It concerns me that although us hardcore conservatives look at this and we view him as a martyr, a lot of independents, a lot of your suburbanites out there will just see this as baggage and liability. Oh my gosh, he's being charged of crimes. That the system is always right. I'm an NPC, all that stuff, right? It does concern me. But I still say to that, what can we do about it other than, again, this is where we are, right? Do you think that 300 in I'm getting very preachy, I know, but in the Persian Wars, you think they wanted to be there, right? No, but they were there. So do you run? I guess you can, but run to where? Run to where? Run to the next guy who they're going to do the same thing to? No, like you are in this corner. So that's why I say, at this point, it has to be Trump 2024. And I've said that since the beginning of his campaign, but I'm kind of doubling down on it right now. It has to be Trump 2024. Because what other option is there? Any other option, including Vivek, frankly. Although, if like I said, Trump does have to drop out or something, whatever, I think he's probably the best candidate at this point. I will say that. But even a guy like him, in a way, nominating him, and look, he may have a future in the party, don't get me wrong, but nominating him at this current moment, even a guy like that, is fundamentally running from the problem that is currently in front of us. Okay? Right? It's kind of, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of brushing aside this indictment thing and saying, okay, well, let's focus on the election and not. No, this is everything. Do you not get it? This is everything. They're criminally prosecuting a former president. It's never been done before in this country. This is everything. This is the moment. We are here. This is it. And this is why it has to be Trump 2024. Okay? This is why you cannot make this thing a sideshow. Because if it is, then they win. Truly, then they win. And, that's frankly the way it is. The only way out of this mess is to move forward with Trump. It is true. It is true. And there you have it, folks. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. But now is a good time to plug the fact that we do go live usually Monday through Friday live on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So for those of you who are unaware of our nightly live streams and you just watch the videos, if you ever have time, 8 p.m. again, be sure to join us nightly. And it's also a good time to plug my second channel. Look up Vince Dao Clips, or the link will be down in the description. We use the second channel to clip some of the parts of the live streams and stuff like that. So if you want to watch the streams in sort of condensed fashion, also be sure to go subscribe to the second channel, Vince Dao Clips, down in the comment section below. All right, with that said, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe before you go, and until next time, Alpha Moves only, God bless, pray for our republic, and peace.